News out of college football, where Auburn has fired head coach Hugh Freeze in the midst of his third season with the Tigers. That is the latest from our Matt Zenitz. Auburn dropped to 4-5 on the year following Saturday's 10-3 defeat to Kentucky at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Saturday's loss dropped the Tigers to 1-5 in SEC games this season, which is tied for the third worst record in the league. Our Brandon Marcello reporting that defensive coordinator DJ Durkin will take over as interim head coach. Let's welcome in Chip Patterson to react to this breaking news. Seems like the sentiment is that it was somewhat expected, Chip, but was yesterday's loss just the final nail in the coffin?
100%. The failures for the Hugh Freeze tenure at Auburn seem to extend, and a lot of that was on display because this is a team here in 2025 that has been given all of the resources. This is the team that has been putting recruiting class on top of recruiting class to field a roster that we look at and say, hey, this is a talented roster. Now, Emily, was the schedule tough? Yes. So we're not expecting SEC championships, but man, the results are so far from the Auburn standard. And the fact that you had been saving and building towards this being a breakthrough year, this was the exact opposite. And yes, losing 10-3 to Kentucky is rock bottom of your breakthrough year being the straw that broke the camel's back.
You mentioned the expectations at Auburn. You're looking at their past four head coaches. They're still paying some buyout money to Gus Malzahn, $21.5 million in 2020. Now they owe $15.4 million to Hugh Freeze. Why has Auburn not been able to get this hire right? It seems like a sleeping giant almost. This is a team that's won national titles in somewhat the recent future.
Certainly. What's the buzzword? Alignment. You know, everyone always likes to talk about alignment. Alignment sometimes within your own university. Sometimes it's also within the boosters, the power brokers, the people who are involved. We have had some leadership turnover, which I do think is a piece of this in terms of Auburn not being able to string it together. It's also not that different from Florida, an SEC foe that similarly has undergone 4 different coaching tenures since they had the success with Urban Meyer. And so I do wonder if, you know, some of this I do think is Hugh Freeze, that we should put it at his feet. We should say these are failures in terms of your organization, your player evaluation, your roster construction, your staff hires. Those things fall on the head coach. But maybe there is some Auburn to this also, where it just wasn't all syncing up at the same time in terms of alignment. That is the real challenge for the next head coach, because as you mentioned, Auburn is a place where when you get everybody pulling on the rope in the same direction, you can compete for and win national championships, but you need to be able to be that kind of figure to hopefully get everyone going in the same direction. Otherwise, you're just hoping for a meteoric event like Cam Newton to come through and completely change everything. But I do think that Auburn is a place where you can win national titles, even without a one-of-a-kind like Cam.
I love that you mentioned Cam Newton because, yes, it's been a while, and that's nice to hope for, but he seems like a once-in-a-generational kind of talent. And when we think of the current quarterback situation at Auburn, how much was that a reason for the struggles under Hugh Freeze?
Absolutely at the top of the list. The offensive struggles and quarterback is going to be where that's going to start. You know, you made the decisions that you made, both in terms of quarterbacks that you did not bring into the program and quarterbacks that you did bring into the program. First, to be able to just, you know, stick with the plan without shaking things up too much. Then you go out and you get Jackson Arnold, and that has not worked out well at all. Also adding Ashton Daniels. Deuce Knight was supposed to be your high-profile high school recruit. But the fact that none of this came together, I think also comes back to the way that this was organized. You know, a shifting offensive staff throughout his time at Auburn, different responsibilities for different downs. It just felt like it was trying a lot without anything really going in the same direction. And I think that those are going to be something that Hugh Freeze looks back on if he wants to continue coaching, that hopefully will be lessons that he's learned about the way the whole program is organized.
Yeah, and you mentioned alignment when it comes to the future of making this hire and what this job looks like. That's obviously a word that's come up a lot when talking about the LSU opening, Chip. There are so many big-time jobs open right now, particularly in the SEC, but in general in college football. Where do you see Auburn stacking amongst the big-time jobs?
Ooh, currently open?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an important asterisk.
Hey, yeah, 100%. Not suspected open, but currently open. All right, let's rip this off, Emily. Let's go LSU 1. Let's go Florida 2. I'll go Penn State 3, then Auburn 4, and then we get into like a Virginia Tech, Arkansas, UCLA debate. But clearly closer to the top than to the middle pack there. But I would still have Auburn behind Florida and behind Penn State if we were to rank these out 1 through 5.
We're going to be ranking and re-ranking every single Sunday here in this college football season. It has been absolutely wild. But Chip Patterson, we appreciate you being here to break that down. I know you have an emergency pod you got to go do on the Cover 3 podcast. So thank you for taking the time. Yeah, a reminder of the crazy coaching carousel that we are already seeing. Chip said already open for a reason, because we do anticipate more openings to come. But this is currently the Power 4 coaching carousel.